Hello, everyone. My name's John Brenneman, president here at MOAA Vacations. Want to thank everyone for joining us today. We have a great presentation. Our good friend Melissa Young is joining us. She's going to tell us all about American Cruise Line, the lakes, the rivers, the coasts that you can explore with them. It is America's what is it, semi-quincentennial, the 250th anniversary. I'm sure she'll talk a little bit about that, but what better year to explore America than the year when we're celebrating our 250th anniversary? So, before we get started, just wanted to let everybody know that we are recording this webinar. So, later on this evening, you'll receive an email with a link to this presentation. We actually need to download it from Zoom and then upload it to YouTube. So, typically a couple of hours, but then you'll have it available if Melissa says anything that you want to revisit. I always just say make a note of what time it is. We started right at the top of the hour. So let's say we're 25 minutes in and you're like, oh my goodness, I want to revisit that. Just make a mental note or make a note down on paper that when you get the link to rewatch the webinar, that you can just fast forward it to that part, unless you want to rewatch the entire thing. Uh, After I kind of do my little intro, we do have a few people who may not be familiar with MOA Vacations. I am going to turn it over to Melissa. When she is done, we're going to do a Q&A. We're here to answer any questions you might have. I'm going to be answering questions during her presentation, and then we'll revisit all of the questions at the end and get Melissa's take as well. So if you want to ask a question, if you take your cursor, or if you're on like a iPad or a phone, your finger at the bottom of the screen, you see a little menu pull up. There's a little conversation bubble that says Q&A in it. You just click on that and type your questions in there. If for some reason or other you don't see that conversation bubble that says Q&A, on the far right hand side, there's a circle with three dots in it that says more. If you click on that, you'll see all the icons. So we want to make sure we answer any questions you might have. So, real quick, in case we have anybody who's unfamiliar with MOA Vacations, I always kind of talk real quick about the four reasons why we are the official travel agency for MOA. The first is our superior level of service. We do a concierge level of service. I could talk about this at length, but that's not why anybody's here today. The one thing we always kind of use to kind of just kind of summarize our level of services. We are the only travel agency in North America that provides service on a satisfaction guaranteed basis. If you have any issue either before or during your cruise or your tour, or whatever vacation you're on, you reach out to us. And 95% of the cases, you talk directly to myself, and I will work with our good friends like Melissa to get that resolved to your satisfaction within 48 hours. There are some occasions where I might be overseas escorting a MOA group, in which case you'll talk to our vice president, Mike Tyrell, but we'll get that taken care of for you. We do guarantee the lowest price. In fact, we have a promotion going on right now in March, which I hope you're all familiar with. Any American Cruise Line cruise, be it river, be it Great Lakes, be it one of the coastal cruises, Alaska, any cruise you go on, we're offering a $600 discount. We always guarantee the lowest prices, but in a lot of cases, we have a deal that's actually better than the lowest price. We do have a free MOA amenity program. This is where our vendor partners recognize both your past and your continued service to this country. American Cruise Line does participate in that. In addition to the $600 discount, any cruise that you book, and this is an ongoing promotion, it's not just for March, you'll receive a $50 per person onboard credit. And I always like to point out at this point, anything that we offer, the service, the guaranteed lowest price, the MOA amenities, all this applies not only to MOA members, but all of your friends and family as well. We want your vacation to be as much fun as possible. So if you'd have more fun when you're doing, let's say, your Columbia River cruise, if your neighbors went with you, or you're doing the coastal and you want your family to go with you, or whatever it is, absolutely bring them along. They get the same great service, the same low price. And along those lines, we do have opportunities to do groups. So even if you had a group of 5 or 6 couples that all wanted to go together, let us know. We can put a group together. And if you put a group together, we can even increase your savings any more. So that's kind of like the 5-minute overview on MOA Vacations. but everybody signed up to hear about American Cruise Line. So I'm going to turn it over to Melissa. I'm going to turn my camera off. As I said, I'm going to be answering questions during Melissa's presentation, and then we will revisit them all at the very end. So Melissa, take it away.
Thank you, John. And thank you to those of you that tuned in today. I appreciate you taking time out of your busy day. To those of you watching live or later on video that have served our country, I just wanted to send my heartfelt appreciation. We love America and American Cruise Lines as we are focused on telling the stories of America and exploring the beauty of our country. So in today's presentation, I was going to give you a little bit of background on who we are and where we're headed. We're going to talk a little bit about some of our new ships and how rapidly we're growing. And also, we're going to focus on our most popular itineraries and some of our newest and noteworthy itineraries. We do have over 55 itineraries, so we won't get into all of them in detail, but any questions you may have, John is an expert on American Cruise Lines, and him and I work closely together, and we can certainly address any specific questions either at the end of this webinar or in the coming days. And we'll talk a little bit about our semi-quincentennial. We are so excited and proud to be celebrating America's birthday this year, 250th anniversary of the signing of the Declaration of Independence. And we are celebrating on every cruise that sails throughout the year. So our cruises that are sailing now are already celebrating, and guests are welcomed with this. You can see in this picture, this giant American flag that covers up most of our ship. It's put out on embarkation day just for a few hours to welcome guests and to set the mood. And then as we celebrate throughout the cruise, there are small commemorative gifts. There are patriotic themed cocktail parties. There's a This Day in History, special onboard lectures, and we're tying into local celebrations as well. So if we're sailing somewhere where there's a museum or a town that's having a specific special celebration, we're including that in our excursions that guests can choose from through our platform. So they'll know about it ahead of time. They'll see the time and the date so they can work it into their schedule when they're selecting excursions. And also for July 4th in particular, our ships are planning to be in ideal locations to be able to observe fireworks wherever we are. So the ships may move from their docking point to an ideal location to watch local fireworks. And I think what a lovely way to celebrate. Dinner on board, grab a cocktail, go up to our sun deck, relax. You're not in a crowded area, and enjoy the celebrations that we'll see on the 4th of July. So let's jump in, and I'm going to give you a little bit of background on American Cruise Lines. I did already mention that we have over 50 itineraries that focus on America's coasts, waterways. We sail the major rivers and many tributaries to those rivers. And we are the United States' only domestic flagged cruise line. So we always stay in American waters. Guests do not need a passport to sail with us. And we find this is something that's really popular as well, to not have to leave the country. So when you're with us, a driver's license will do to come on board. I think really important to note that we are family owned and operated, and we've been in business now for more than 50 years. I'm talking to you today from our office, our headquarters in Guilford, Connecticut. And there's a great American story behind American Cruise Lines. Our founder in the 1970s traded his car for a boat to start operating day trips on the Connecticut River. And the company grew from there, eventually doing dinner cruises and then overnight cruises. We eventually started building our own ships in Salisbury, Maryland at a shipyard, and we use American steel, and across the entire company only hire American citizens, and that includes our crew. That's also something that our guests really enjoy, is connecting with people from all over the country, and it's sort of fun to see the conversations that come about, or I've been to your hometown, or I've been near there, really makes for a nice atmosphere. So guests traveling with us are going to get to know each other. Our ships are small, and also connect with our very warm and friendly crew members. A trend that we're seeing in the travel industry right now is that a lot of Americans want to forego long flights or having to go to the airport at all, even if possible. So we have, because we cruise domestically, something like 90% of Americans can actually drive to our ports. We have multiple round trip itineraries. Some of these are in places like round trip Boston for New England harbor hopping, round trip Providence, Rhode Island, New Orleans along the lower Mississippi, St. Petersburg on our Florida Gulf Coast and Keys itinerary, Tacoma, Washington, for our Puget Sound and San Juan's itinerary, San Juan Islands. So it is possible. And I've also seen many guests be able to do it even flying one direction. So they may drive to, I've seen this happen, guests drive to the airport or where the cruise would end, nearest to where the cruise would end. Then they park their car in the long-term parking area, fly up to where they would meet the ship, cruise down, and then at the very end, we do provide a complimentary transfer to the local airport. So they would take that complimentary transfer with us from the ship, but instead of going to the terminal, they make their way to the parking garage. So it can be done also on a one directional. And then last but not least, we're really focused on elevating small ship cruising right here in the United States. Many of you may be aware that river cruising in Europe has grown and is such a trend and a really beautiful way to discover any region. And we are working to provide really exceptional experiences, both on board the ship with our cuisine, our service, but then also the excursions and the places that we're going to. I did mention 55 itineraries that visit over 35 states. We do the entire East Coast, in New England harbor hopping, the Hudson River. We do Chesapeake Bay and the Potomac River. We sail the entire intracoastal down to Florida. We have a great Florida Gulf Coast and Keys itinerary. We cruise along the Gulf Coast between Pensacola and New Orleans. We do, of course, the Mississippi and its tributaries, like the Arkansas River, the Ohio, the Tennessee. And the Mississippi can be done in its entirety or in segments as well. There are a lot of options to choose from. New this year, we've added Great Lakes, and we're going to talk a little bit about that in a few seconds. And also the Pacific Northwest, sailing the Columbia and Snake River, the Puget Sound, San Juan Islands, the Inside Passage up to Alaska from Tacoma, and then a couple of cruise itineraries within Alaska. And I thought the best way to kind of give you a sense of what it's like on our beautiful waterways here in the United States is to show you this video of our ship sailing throughout some of these regions. guests cruising with us are going to feel like they're cruising with friends on their private boat. It's larger than most people's private boats. When you're with us, it's everything is included. You're not pulling your wallet out for everything, and there's no casino, no spa, no gift shop. So really, the destination is the destination, and when you're on board with us. So here's what's included in our cruise fare. First of all, on every single cruise, we offer a complimentary hotel night prior to your cruise beginning. And in the morning, we include a luggage concierge service right from outside your hotel door to our ship. And then while you're having breakfast, your luggage is being delivered to your cabin, and then we come back and we pick up our guests. So you would arrive at the ship around 11:30. You'd be able to walk right on board and find your bags in your room, and then sit down for lunch. And we usually start sailing. That's a typical embarkation day. So that complimentary pre-night is now included. This is a new addition for every single cruise that we offer. All of the cuisine is included. It's locally sourced, prepared fresh daily. I would describe the cuisine as American. Really, you can always find steak, chicken, salmon, but then we also reflect whatever region that we're sailing in. So for sailing Chesapeake Bay, you could be pretty sure that crab is going to feature on the menu. All of your adult beverages are included, wine and beer with meals, and we host a cocktail party every evening with live music and pasta d'oeuvres. All of the onboard entertainment and enrichment programs are included. When you're sailing with us on the Mississippi, you will be accompanied by a riverlorian. This is somebody who's an expert in that river, in that region, in the history and the culture. On other cruises, there would be a special lecturer that has great knowledge in a particular area. And then the entertainment as well. We would have resident musicians that sail with the cruise so that you have live music daily. And then in the evenings, we bring on additional step-on entertainers after dinner. So it's not the same entertainment all the time. It's being switched up. There's something different daily, and there's something going on every evening. Our ships are equipped with a self-service laundry. So if you wanted to, wash while you're there, you could help yourself to complimentary Tide Pods and dryer sheets in our laundry rooms. Our ships have libraries with computer stations and a fitness center. Our Wi-Fi is operated by Starlink. It works really great. And also included in this cruise fare are all the gratuities, the port fees, and the taxes. So really the price you see on our website, or the one that John gives you, is the full price. There's no adding on taxes and fees or anything like that. The only thing that you could possibly add more, come out of pocket more for when you're sailing with us, are excursions, if you choose to add on some extras. And here is how they work. We have featured shore excursions that are complimentary to all guests, and we have at least one a day in all our ports, sometimes more. It really depends where we're sailing and what's available to do in that particular place. So there are excursions included in every cruise. If you want to add on premium shore excursions, they tend to cost between $10 and $95 and include things like a horse-drawn carriage ride in Beaufort, South Carolina, or kayaking on the Snake River. These you would pick and choose in your cruise portal 2 months ahead of the cruise. You would log in, you could see all the prices and all the times. You'll see which ones are complimentary and when they are. So you have some autonomy to plan your days as you would like them. We do collect credit card details for these premium excursions at that point, but they don't charge you until you leave the cruise. And that's because you have the flexibility to cancel even when you're on board with us. If for some reason it's raining in Beaufort and you don't want to take that horse-drawn carriage ride, you can cancel it and we won't charge you for those premium excursions that you don't take. Our signature excursions are fewer and far between. We offer a few of these. They are higher ticket items and they're limited in availability type experiences. So, for example, a signature excursion would be a seaplane ride over the Dry Tortugas National Park. And so something like this is book in advance, pay in full, non-refundable, because we're working with another partner that's operating this small aircraft and have to be able to confirm with them. So those are how the excursions work. Over to our fleet, and you saw in that video how close we get to the coast in some of the shots, and it's really exciting. Our fleet of ships, we're building them thoughtfully to be on the smaller side, but with a lot of versatility. So, and also we're seeing a big demand in people wanting to explore the United States for its beauty, its history, its stories of freedom, of civil rights, of innovation. And so we're building a lot of new ships to keep up with this demand. We're also seeing a lot of repeat passengers. It's not uncommon to come across people that have sailed with us 5 times, 10 times, even 15 times. So this particular image here shows you the left half of our screen are coastal ships and the right are river ships. So on the major rivers like the Columbia and Snake Rivers and Mississippi and its tributaries, you would have a choice of 2 different types of vessels. We have our paddle wheelers that are a little more nostalgic in design, but they have been refurbished inside in our coastal contemporary decor that you see across our fleet. And they tend to be a lower lead-in price. And then we have our American river boats that are similar to the European river ships if you've sailed the rivers of Europe. And they are beautiful, new. We're actually introducing 3 new ones, 1 a year for the next 3 years. We're really excited about that. And I'm going to show you some more details on that in just a second. On the left side, you see our Patriot class, brand new, and Patriot and Pioneer launched last year in 2025. And then we have 2 more ships like this a year coming for the next 3 or 4 years. Our coastal cats were built in 2023 and 2024, but just across the board here, all these ships are small. They carry between 90 and 180 guests, depending on which one, but they can all sail in 9 feet of water or less. And that gives us a really big advantage of being able to go to smaller ports of call. When you do New England harbor hopping with us, you sail right into Plymouth Harbor and sail past the Mayflower. We're going to Martha's Vineyard, Nantucket, Block Island. So we can get into some of these smaller places, and the ships were built with that sort of versatility in mind. So over a little bit into, we're so excited about these new river ships that are coming. American Encore is going to be launching this May on the Columbia and Snake River. And it is 180 guests, 90 cabins. They're all private balconies across our entire fleet. We only have exterior cabins, so you're always going to have a beautiful view. And just to give you an idea of the main deck you see here, the front of it has the river lounge where the evening's entertainment happens, and the back of it has the main restaurant. And so it makes it easy to go back and forth between the two, which everyone does every evening. And then the next 3 decks are all guest cabins. And then we have our lovely sun deck. So, and just to give you a sense of what the space is like, this is our lovely lounge where really we do port talks here, lectures. We have our cocktail party at the end of the day at about 5:30. This place is abuzz with people enjoying passadors, live music, cocktails, and connecting with other passengers, comparing notes. What excursion did you do today? Did you do this? So we love that. And, really lively, fun place to be. And then it's over to our main restaurant for dinner. There are no buffets. It is all table service. The menu changes daily, and we can accommodate all of our guests if they showed up at the same time. So there's never a worry or a need to feel like you have to make a reservation. After dinner, our guests then head back to that lounge for the evening's entertainment. Overall, we do have the largest guest rooms in the travel industry on the smallest ships on average, and I'll show you one in just a second on another ship. And here on American Encore is our new signature suite that we're really excited about. It's a little over 1,000 square feet. You can see it's got beautiful 180-degree views, a private balcony with these floor-to-ceiling glass windows, and then it has a beautiful bathroom with a soaker tub, and heated floors. And so we're really excited because the Columbian snake is just stunningly beautiful. So to be able to enjoy it with all these views all the time is magnificent. And then beautiful sun decks here. You see typical sun deck on any of our ships looks like this with a walking track to walk off some of those calories, a shuffleboard or a giant chessboard. And this is where you could be up here on the sun deck enjoying fireworks for July 4th. The next deck down you see is just outside of our Sky Lounge. We also have a little alfresco dining option here. It's a back porch cafe, so it's sort of meant to feel like a snack shack. You would go up to a window, place an order, and then sit down. They serve things like burgers. They do great veggie burger, Caesar salad, chicken wrap. In the morning, they do eggs. So it's a really nice place to have an alfresco breakfast, lunch, or dinner. And then this ship is just dedicated to cruising the beautiful Columbia and Snake Rivers, which is very popular as a destination. And we do have a wine-themed cruise in October if you're interested in exploring that. Over now to our new ship, American Maverick, that is going to be sailing New England in the Southeast. And it is one of these new Patriot class ships, 65 cabins, 130 guests, and really beautiful itineraries. To get to sail the Intracoastal is really special. Unless you have a private boat, there's really no way to do it. So we go between Charleston and Amelia Island, back and forth, visiting Savannah, Hilton Head, Jekyll Island, really fabulous. And this Columbian Snake Rivers cruise that Encore is doing is where we follow in the footsteps of Lewis and Clark, sailing between Clarkston and Portland. And really beautiful. You see Multnomah Falls featured here. There are a lot of hiking opportunities. There's some kayaking. We visit the Columbia River Gorge, Mount St. Helens, Hells Canyon, where we offer a jet boat ride as well. So really beautiful, exciting region of our country to explore. Just new, they offered, we're offering now a 2-week long itinerary in the same region. So typically a Columbian Snake River cruise is one directional, Portland to Clarkston, or the reverse. We're now offering round trip Portland, 2-week long, to get to enjoy this beautiful part of the world. Okay, over to our Patriot class. This one I mentioned was 65 cabins, 130 guests, all suites, all exterior cabins that sailing New England in the summer. And then when the weather, after fall foliage and the weather turns cold, it heads down to the southeast. I did mention earlier, we have the largest staterooms on the smallest ships. So the average stateroom size is 300 square feet, like you see here. It really feels a lot more like a hotel room than it does a cabin on a ship. And then we do have some suites that are 620 square feet as well. So certainly sailing and comfort. We're lucky in the United States. We don't have low bridges we have to navigate under. So our ships tend to sit a little higher as well, which gives a really nice sense of a space. And then this is what the main restaurant looks like on these new Patriot class ships, as well as our forward lounge where the evening comes alive with music and connections. Okay, so this American Maverick is going to be sailing in New England. So I picked a few itineraries that it will be sailing to highlight for you. I picked some of my favorites, and this one that's new that it's automatically become one of my favorites, simply because it is a comprehensive 16-day cruise through New England. So if this is a once in a lifetime harbor hopping trip, this is the way to do it. It's round trip from Boston. We visit Portsmouth, New Hampshire, which is such a beautiful little town. We go to Boothbay Harbor, all these lovely little harbors in Maine, Camden, Rockland, Bath. We're actually small enough we can sail right up the river into Bangor, Maine. We go to Bar Harbor. Acadia National Park is an excursion on this particular cruise. And then south of Boston, we go to Plymouth, Massachusetts, where we approach the Plymouth Rock from the water, and we sail past the Mayflower replica that's there. We go over to Cape Cod to Provincetown. We visit Martha's Vineyard. We do Nantucket as an excursion. We dock in Newport, Rhode Island, where we do a classic New England lobster bake that's done shoreside. And we eat at Fort Adams State Park, this beautiful alfresco lunch there, as the lobster has been slow steamed for hours under seaweed on a wood burning fire, and the chef unveils it. Really amazing. And then also we visit, as an example, the Avenue of the Mansions in Newport. So just really a comprehensive way to see all of it. It's such a beautiful part of the world. I live in the Northeast. These places in the summertime and the fall are just spectacular. When the weather turns cold, this is my favorite itinerary, sailing on the Intracoastal Waterway. Coming out of Charleston, it is so narrow. You'll sit on the sun deck, you'll just tilt your head to the left or the right, seeing beautiful southern mansions with private docks. And then there are parts of it where you really don't see anything but nature. It looks like seagrass and little islands with trees on them. And we go to Beaufort, South Carolina, which is a very charming town in South Carolina. They filmed a bit of Forrest Gump there, as well as some other movies, but you'll find really charming locals. We go to Hilton Head, South Carolina. One of the excursions is you can go shrimp boating. We dock in Savannah, right by the JW Marriott, if you know Savannah, and we spend quite a bit of time there. There's a lot to explore in Savannah. We go to Jekyll Island, which was a retreat in the Gilded Age in the late 1800s for affluent New Yorkers to come, and we can visit some of their beach cottages, these Victorian mansions referred to as cottages. So really interesting. And then we end in Amelia Island, which is fascinating for its history and its natural beauty. We dock, of course, on the Intracoastal, but you could walk over to the Atlantic beaches. And this is a round trip flying in and out of Jacksonville itinerary. Our Florida Gulf Coast and Keys is also a great way to escape if you live somewhere where it's cold in the winter and you want to go somewhere that's not sitting on a beach or a typical all-inclusive. Here we're sailing 8 nights, round trip from St. Petersburg. We go to Marco Island. We visit Everglades National Park. We go to Key West, where we dock just steps from Mallory Square. We offer the Dry Tortugas National Park as an excursion, either by seaplane, as I mentioned, or by ferry. And then on the way back, we visit Punta Gorda and back into St. Petersburg. This is one of our most popular cruises. If you haven't cruised in the US or you haven't done the lower Mississippi, I highly recommend it. It is so educational. I learned so much about our history, our culture, than I ever thought possibly imaginable. This is one of our most popular sailings. It's either direction, New Orleans to Memphis, or the reverse. In Memphis, we stay at the guest house at Graceland. That's our included pre-night. And visiting Graceland is a big draw for our guests. Next year, 2027, is the anniversary of Elvis's passing, so it will be a milestone year for Graceland. But there are lots of other excursions in Memphis as well. We to explore Beale Street. We also go as an option to the National Civil Rights Museum, which is a very fascinating and moving place. It's at the old Lorraine Motel where Martin Luther King was assassinated, and it still looks like a motel on the outside. And then inside, it tells the story of civil rights from slavery to the 1960s. So really fascinating. On this cruise, we also we stop in Cleveland, Mississippi, and we visit the Grammy Museum. There are 2 Grammy museums. One is here in Cleveland. We go to Vicksburg Military Park, and we learn how the Mississippi River was used to help the North win the Civil War. It was a strategic move. Natchez and St. Francisville, really beautiful, charming little towns with little shops and little villages to explore beautiful houses. They say nothing matches Natchez, and I think they're right. Of course, we have to visit Baton Rouge, the state capital. We go to Oak Alley, and we dock right in New Orleans, where you could walk to the French Quarter from where we dock the ship. There are, as excursions, a number of plantations to visit here, cotton plantations. You do see sugarcane as well. We go to Frogmore, which was fascinating. I actually got to pick cotton off of a plant. They left some on for us. And you learn about the processing of cotton then, including they have a cotton ginny, so you can see that piece of technology when it arrived. And then at the very end, they take you through their current facility, which is still processing USDA organic cotton. I was there in December, so I got to learn a little bit about how Christmas would have been celebrated on a plantation like that. So really fascinating. I learned so much on that cruise. I truly, and also great to if you're traveling like I did, when you think about it, going in December, coming back with gifts for people. I remember I bought my son, who's 20 now, and I brought him back alligator jerky, for a little present. And for my daughter, who's 16, I thought it was pretty funny. I brought her back a voodoo doll from New Orleans because, what 16-year-old daughter wouldn't want to do that? Anyway, so I hope that made you laugh, but really fabulous cruise. We have added, starting a few years ago, and they've grown in popularity, national parks cruises. So we're adding more of them. This has been hugely popular among our guests, to be able to combine a cruise with a land tour and to have it all seamless. You don't have to worry at all. So I'll take you through our most popular one. It's our National Parks and Legendary Rivers cruise. So imagine sailing with us Portland to Clarkston on the Columbia and Snake River. And then when you step off the ship, you step onto one of our coaches, and we send our adventure guides to take you to 3 national parks. We go to Glacier National Park, Yellowstone, and Grand Teton before bringing you to the airport in Jackson. So the entire land portion is hosted by us. All the entrance to the parks are included, meals are included. In some situations, we stay inside the park. Others, we stay just outside. And it's just taken care of. So you get to explore the entire region without much effort. And it's all put together really nicely for you, seeing all the very best places as you go. We also added Alaska as well. So we take guests, they fly into Fairbanks, we take them to Denali, Kenai, and then we fly with them to meet our ship in Juneau for a round trip Juneau cruise. There are 2 different cruises to choose from in length, round trip Juneau. So that's why there's a variation on the days here. It depends how much time you want to spend and what your dates are. And then we also have this Great Smoky Mountains National Park cruise where we sail Nashville to Knoxville, or the reverse. And then we're adding on 2 full days in the Smoky Mountains National Park. And we're going to beautiful Gatlinburg. We're visiting Pigeon Forge. It's a really beautiful part of our country, and really great way to do it as a combined land and river cruise. New this year, we've just announced this new Northwest National Parks cruise. This one is 2 weeks round trip from Tacoma, Washington. And we basically spend a week doing our Puget Sound and San Juan Islands cruise, which visits Anacortes, Friday Harbor. And then we take guests at either the end or the beginning of the cruise to 3 national parks in the same way we sort of do with the national parks and legendary rivers. So we're going here to Mount Rainier, to Olympic National Park, and to North Cascades. New this year, they also just added a whole new concept of cruising the Great Lakes. Most Great Lakes cruise companies sail back and forth between Canada and the US. And we do with our sister cruise line, Pearl Seas Cruises. We have a ship called the Pearl Mist that does those type of itineraries. It does Atlantic Canada, the St. Lawrence Seaway, and various itineraries in the Great Lakes. But we saw a need for a lot of people wanting to stay in the United States and not leave. So we've introduced, and it starts this summer, 2026, Great Lakes itineraries, but domestic only. So we're only going to US ports. And this means, you don't necessarily need medical insurance because you're not leaving the country. You don't need a passport. And also, on those Great Lakes itineraries, moving back and forth each time does require some passport control. So there's a lot less of that and more just spending time in each destination. So those are the advantages. We have three to choose from. Syracuse to Buffalo, our Great Lakes and Thousand Islands cruise is 8 nights. Niagara Falls is a major draw on this, and we do include it for all guests. We have our American Great Lakes, that is Buffalo to Milwaukee. This one is 13 nights on board. In Detroit, the Henry Ford Museum is a big draw for our guests. Also, the Sioux Locks and Mackinac Island. Those would be the major draws. And we actually get to enjoy a little bit of Dutch culture when we visit Holland. And then the Lake Michigan and the Upper Peninsula, 8 nights, round trip from Milwaukee, really beautiful part of the state. And Sheboygan, I have not been, but I have learned is considered the Malibu of the Great Lakes because you can surf there. So, also that going to go to Green Bay, Muskegon, Escanaba. Really, I think a part of our country that has been underappreciated and it's growing in popularity now. People are really appreciating the great beauty of the Great Lakes as they are, in a way, inland seas and just the kind people that populate these little towns and the beautiful landscapes that we sail within. So that's what I had prepared for you today. Thank you again for joining, for your service. And, we do strive to tell the stories of America wherever we're sailing. And I'd be happy to take any questions if anyone has.
Sorry, I was actually typing an answer to the most recent question. We can just start back at the beginning and go through all of these. But I had one thing before we get into the questions. First off, amazing job. So many phenomenal trips to go on. I don't even know where you start. I thought maybe, do you want to talk real quick about your past passenger program? How, because I think a lot of people might be looking more at one and might be surprised to know that their 11th cruise is free.
Absolutely, yes. So we do see, I promise you, I go on the ships often, just even for lunch sometime when they're up here in the Northeast. I bring people like John on to come see them when there are opportunities. And I see all the time as I meet our guests, we actually have it on their lanyards. Each star represents how many times they've cruised with us. It's not uncommon for people to cruise 5 times, 10, 15, even 20. So we do have a loyalty program that does provide a lot of perks and value. And so after sailing with us 3 times, guests then get those premium shore excursions I mentioned. They get included complimentary. So the horse-drawn carriage ride or the kayaking is free at that point. Another major benefit is after sailing with us 10 times, the 11th is free. And we do count any sailings on our sister cruise line, Pearl Seas, towards that 10. So you could do, and there's so many to do that it's easy to get to 10. I often think in my head, which one do I want to do next? There's so many beautiful places to explore. I grew up along the Great Lakes and I have not sailed it, the way this is. And most people I know, you would have a private boat, someone's cottage, but I'd love to go through the Welland Canal, the Sioux Locks. I mean, I grew up swimming in Lake Erie. It'd be wonderful to see it from the water in this way and on small ships that are really welcomed for tourism in all these little towns that we visit along the way. To have 90 to 180 people, come through town on a Tuesday, the locals love it. We're supporting local businesses and, it's just really, really nice.
I know we've had members hit that, free 11th cruise before because I've talked to some of them who've achieved that. Okay. So we got 15 minutes or so for questions. We got a number of them. So somebody asked, are the cruises adult only? I of course said they are not. Is it 8 and up? Is that the age? And is that all ships? Is it kind of vary depending on the itinerary?
Yeah, no, we don't have any strict age restrictions. We are not geared toward children. There's no kids club. There's no water slide or swimming pool, as you saw. They are very much cultural and immersive journeys. So we do warn of this, but we do welcome children of all ages, and we do see, where grandparents are taking
Yep.
grandkids. I think it's sort of suitable, maybe around middle age, when kids have had a little bit of American history and can appreciate that, and also on the personality of the children as well. We do have Wi-Fi on board, which can occupy young people these days, unfortunately. But I think if
There
they're
you go.
also happy, there's a lot of card playing. There's board games. If they're happy listening to the entertainment in the evening, playing some games, and then during the day, you can go hiking, kayaking, walking around. You don't have to do any of our excursions. You could just spend the day. We dock right in the heart of these little towns, so you could, theoretically explore on your own as well and do something more geared toward children there. We don't get a lot of children, but we don't have any restrictions not to welcome them.
It might work better if you were going and taking younger kids, if you went with other family members or friends who also had younger kids, or if they had a lot of siblings. But I mean, siblings sometimes, sometimes get along, sometimes don't. But I mean, there's a lot of, if you went and your kids had other kids their age within your group, because you can't go like you would go on normal ships, no kids program where you'd sit there and say there'll be other kids they can play with unless you bring them on your own. Somebody asked about the $600 if it's per person or per trip. That is per trip, and it is per stateroom. So, but there's no limit on that. If you were to book 2 trips in March, both of them would get the $600. If you booked one and your neighbor booked one and your sibling booked one, all 3 cabins would get one. I think that's pretty straightforward. Somebody asked about the friends and family. You can refer your friends and family to book your MOAA vacations, and they get the discounts even if you're not on the sailing. Okay, here's one that I kind of said I'd say for you because I'm not really sure what they were referencing. Can the consumer user ratings of American cruise lines on various Google sites and TripAdvisor sites be trusted? And before I let you answer that, my answer to that was, I mentioned at the very beginning that I handle all customer complaints. I cannot remember the last time. I mean, Melissa, I don't think you and I have ever talked about a member who had a complaint on board. At least since COVID for sure. My memory pre-COVID is a little fuzzier than post, but I
Yeah.
suggested they talk to their cruise consultant here at MOAA Vacations because they talk to people all the time. But I mean, literally, I just said a couple minutes ago, we have people who obviously love it because I'm talking to them, at like some event and they're like, oh, my next one's free because they've gone 10 and people wouldn't keep going if they weren't great. But anyway, I don't know which sites he's referring to, but do you have some kind of response to the consumer ratings on Google?
Yeah, I think it's I think the best thing you can do is to talk to your travel advisor or to friends that you know who have sailed with
Yeah.
us. We do see high repeat bookings as well. And coming out of the pandemic, I think a lot of hotels and cruise lines struggled initially with staff, etc. So I would also maybe look at the dates on some of those. I know our CEO just opened a couple of years ago a training facility in Utah, and our call center is in Utah, but we have a big training facility with mock-up cabins and a culinary institute and a marine lab that has a simulator. And so we've had in the past couple of years a real dedication to training. And I've certainly seen, any sort of issues. I have hardly any, touching wood right now, but because I want everyone to be happy. But, definitely there have been a lot of strides made. So I would look at the dates of them. If they're around 2020 or just coming out of the pandemic, that was sort of an unfortunate time for a lot of
Yeah.
hospitality providers across the world, really coming out of that. But no, we're doing great. And I think rely on the advice of your friends and your travel advisor would be the best way to go.
It's interesting you say that because we're here to help you. So when you call, I could guarantee you're going to get great service. When you call MOA Vacation. So if you don't go, you're not calling American Cruise Line directly. We're handling all of that for you. And I'll bring up again our satisfaction guarantee. If somebody has a problem or a concern, you call me or you drop me an email. I get a hold of Melissa and we resolve it. So Um,
Yeah.
and just so
Can
you
add to
know,
this.
we don't offer, there are vendors, there are cruise lines out there that we do not promote. And if you were to call in and say, I want to book X cruise line, you're going to be told that the satisfaction guarantee does not apply to that cruise line because they don't rectify issues. So if I do a webinar, it's somebody that we stand behind. So you know, you never know what people have as an axe to grind, but we don't have any complaints because if anybody has a problem, we fix them. Okay, airfare. This is one I'm going to admit I wasn't fully. When they say airfare included, what airports are they talking about? I said major gateways. I think there's around 25, but you should probably clarify that because I'm not sure of my answer.
Yeah. So we do offer flat rate air at 495, and sometimes there may be a promotion where we offer comp air if it's a particular itinerary that has a promotion on it. So yeah, so we do major gateways, economy air. We do subsidize this program even at 495. We're subsidizing it as well. So, but we don't work with any of the discount airlines. You won't see us booking Southwest. We work with the major carriers, Delta, American, United. And basically, at 90 days prior to the cruise, our air team will reach out to John with an air proposal, and then John will talk to you all, your clients, and kind of go over it. And you have an opportunity to go back and say, well, can we do this? Can we do that? If the price is the same, we're all absolutely happy to make those wishes come true. Sometimes there may be an incremental like an upgrade, and those things get worked out then.
Yeah, and one point of clarification: John's not a travel agent, so you will not.
Right. Sorry. You work out your travel advisor. We'll reach. I'm sorry. Yes.
You will not talk to
Work out
John
you.
about your
Yeah.
airfare. I obviously am not as
Yeah.
knowledgeable on some of these things I should
Yeah.
be. Somebody asked, are all drinks complimentary during the cocktail hour? And I guess I didn't answer this one correctly because I said there's a complimentary cocktail hour every evening, but I think they're asking all drinks. I mean, it's beer, wine, and
Yes.
cocktails. So
Yes. Yeah. Yeah, if you wanted a vodka martini at 9 a.m., you could have one. But so you'd have to, yes, there are all drinks, all cocktails, whatever you would like is available throughout the day. We tend to serve beer and wine with lunch. But if somebody wanted, they would just request it from one of our managers that wears a blue shirt on board, and they could have whatever they like.
there you go. Uh, we had a question. Are there some solo female travelers? Do all of your ships have single cabins? I know most of them do.
Yes. Cruise Critic just awarded us for 2026 Best for Solo Travelers.
There you
So
go.
we have solo cabins on all the ships. They vary. The Coastal
Yep.
Cats have like four. The new Patriot class has five or six solos. Some of our paddle wheelers have 10. And we offer the solo cabin at a solo fare price. So a solo would only pay a single supplement if they take a double occupancy cabin.
Okay.
So go for those solo cabins. And we also introduce solos to each other at the beginning of a cruise in a private cocktail party hosted by our crew. So they can, often it's like-minded people, maybe going on a first trip by themselves. So it's nice to have that connection. And we leave it up to them if they want to start a friendship or not.
Yep. So I answered just from my limited experience that because I thought the question was, will there be females and solo travelers as compared to, and I thought from my experience, there's more female solo travelers than male solo travelers. Would you not say that's the case, or am I off?
No, you are off. You're completely sorry. You're completely correct.
Oh,
I think women love travel. We know that men. It's often the case where women make travel decisions even when they're bringing their
yep,
husbands. Sometimes the husbands like to either opt out, or perhaps we do get some widows that want to
yep.
continue enjoying life and exploring. So they tend to be. We do get a few gentlemen, but we did skew heavily for females in our solos.
There's 60,000 surviving spouses in MOAA out of 350,000 members. So they make up a large percentage of the association. So my parents did my parents well, I guess I should say my parents and people that live with them at the senior center they live in have done a American Cruise Line cruise a couple of years in a row, and so I'm kind of involved in that since it's my parents, even though I'm not a travel agent. And but I just know from their senior center when they go, they've done the ones where there's like 10 single cabins, and there's always more of the females than the males. We had a male kind of follow up on that and asked, how far in advance do you need to book to get one of the single cabins since they're limited? And I think, perhaps I'm wrong. The answer is going to be that unlike a river ship that has 10, it's not as important that you book further out than on some of the other ships that may only have two or three, correct?
Yeah, yeah. There are still some available, but yeah, I would say if you are a solo traveler, plan ahead. I think you're going to have more choice to choose from. The other way to do it is, bring a friend with you. Our beds in our double occupancy cabins can be twinned, and that could just make for a more fun environment. Bring a wingman and
There you go.
come and
Yeah.
yeah, you could do that as well.
There you go. The other thing is be flexible. I mean, if you want to go on an itinerary, if you can go 1 or 2 or 3 weeks, then it's going to be easier for your agent here to sit there and say, well, there's nothing on June 6th, but if you go on June 13th or June 20th, there are single staterooms. It's always great to be somewhat flexible. Okay, those are the ones I answered. And now we have 8 new questions. Oh, this one's in 3 parts. Do we offer air packages? Yes.
Do
Right.
yeah, flat
That's a
rate
simple one.
air, 495 for the lower 48. Yeah.
Yep. There you go. Do you offer travel insurance? We have 2 different travel insurance programs that we offer at MOAA Vacations. I assume I shouldn't assume. Do you guys offer insurance?
We don't offer insurance per se. We do
Okay.
have a cancel for any reason program, which is
Okay.
a getting out of the waiver out of the cancel of
There you go. So you have
canceling
3 options. There you go.
Yeah.
And then the last is, can you pay for your cruise over time? There is a date for the initial deposit and a date for final payment. If you want to make
Right.
payments in between those programs or between those dates, we have people that do that. For example, they'll look at it and say, I put down, I'm going to do easy math for myself. It's a $10,000 trip. You put down 1,000 at deposit and you pay 1,000 a month. So it's paid in full by the time final payment comes around. We have people that do monthly payments like that. MOA Vacation doesn't offer an automatic program where we automatically charge your card every month. So, like an auto pay. So, in those instances, those people will just send an email to their cruise consultant and say, I want to pay another 1,000. I want to pay, whatever that amount is. To mind, you can answer. Do you guys have an auto pay kind of overtime program?
We do not, but guests can call in at any point and make payments as they go. The final payment is at 90 days prior to the cruise.
There you
So
go.
however they get there, yeah.
Okay. I know you have to book during March to get the discount, but how do you go about getting it? Do we book it through American Cruise Lines or through MOA Vacations? Patricia, you need to book it through MOA Vacations because it's a MOA Vacations promotion. So you contact us, let us know where you want to go. We'll make the reservation with American, and then we'll basically handle everything for you from that part. Can we book directly with ACL or do we go through MOA? Once same answer. The so it's not a public promotion; it is a MOA Vacations promotion. So you need to contact MOA Vacations. I don't know if you want to add anything to that, Melissa.
Oh, I think that's perfect.
Do you have a choice of hotels for the night prior to the cruise?
No, it's a hotel that's selected by our product team. So our guest experiences team picks the hotel, and we do like a luggage concierge pickup and a transfer with our coaches. So we have to have everybody at the same hotel, and so they're all pre-selected. Yeah, great hotels.
When we would like to book an ACL cruise, could we book everything through MOA Vacation, including the air transportation? Um, you can book everything through us. I will tell you that post COVID, you're more likely when you talk to a cruise consultant here that they will help you find the best flights, but then we recommend that you book direct with the airline only because then you control the reservation. We have found a lot of airlines prefer it if you book directly through them as compared to a third party. If something occurs with that flight and you need to change it, we don't offer domestic airfare discounts. So a lot of it is just picking the flight schedule that you like best. But we're willing to help you any way we can. I think that one's for us. And then the last one, is there a cancellation clause for active duty personnel?
There is not. There's just our one cancellation policy that's available on the website.
Yeah, I was going to say the trip insurance we offer, same type of scenario where you can get the trip insurance that includes if you need to cancel for active duty. I'm assuming that the question would be if you're active duty and you're called up from leave or whatever that scenario might be. So unfortunately, um, nothing that is complimentary, but it's coverage that can be purchased along with either the cancel for any reason through American Cruise Line, which is probably what I would recommend because it's going to be less expensive. Or if you want the full blown trip insurance, then it's going to be something you need to purchase. So anyway, 302, we're pretty much right on time and got through all the questions. If you're like me, as soon as this is done, you're going to think of anything. If you look on the screen, you have our email address, our phone number, call, email us, ask a question. Reminder, we did record this webinar, so we are going to email this to everyone. It typically takes a couple of hours. We actually have to download it from Zoom, and then we upload it to YouTube, and we'll send everybody an email with a link to watch it on YouTube. Feel free to share that email and the webinar with friends and family if you'd like to invite them or refer them to us. And that will also include the telephone number and the email address, of course, in case you have any questions between, that you think of now that we've concluded this presentation. Other than that, I want to thank everybody for joining us. Obviously, Melissa, I want to thank you for taking time out of your very busy schedule to spend time with us today. I'm going to turn it over to you for the last word.
Thank you for having me, and thank you for your interest in learning more about American Cruise Lines today. Wish you safe travels, and hope we get to welcome you aboard sometime soon. Thanks.
And everybody's got to start working towards their 11th free cruise. Nobody else gives you a free cruise. It's the best it's the best past passenger program in the business. All right, everyone have a wonderful weekend, and we'll see you again at the next one. Bye, everybody.
Thank you. Bye.